Oasis Audio presents Arrow by R.J. Anderson. Read for you by Eva Kaminsky. To my husband, Horst, a man of peace and integrity. Prologue. "Fairies of the Oak," said Rob. "We are at war." The young rebel leader paced the dais, torchlight glinting in his dark eyes and turning his fox-colored hair to flame. Above him soared the high ceiling of the Queen's Hall, braced by the roots of the living oak, while below and before him, the great chamber was crowded with fairies. There must have been 200 of Rob's followers standing or leaning, or even sitting at the back of the room, looking almost human in their modern clothes. After them came the upright but markedly smaller group of the Children of Rhys. Garan and his men from the magical Green Isles of Wales, who could have been extras from a Robin Hood film. But at the front of the crowd stood 40 or so females, dressed in simple, homespun clothing of a style that had not been popular since Jane Austen. It was to this last group that Rob was speaking, and judging by the tense lines of their bodies and the slight quiver of their wings, the Oakenfolk were listening. Standing in the shadows along the wall, Timothy Sinclair, the lone human in the room, silently marveled. After nearly 2 centuries of isolation, he hadn't thought the Oakenfolk would respond well to being addressed by a stranger. But they'd all come to attention the moment Rob opened his mouth. "About 150 years ago," Rob continued, "a faery calling herself the Empress rose to power in the world beyond this oak. With cunning and dark magic, she enticed our forebearers into giving her 1 drop each of their blood. By tasting that blood, the Empress learned all their true names, and so bound them and their children and their children's children to obey her every command forever." As Rob spoke that last sentence, Timothy watched for the fairies' reaction. The rebels who had followed Rob here from London looked resigned. They had grown up under the Empress's rule, after all. Garan and the other Children of Rhys wore expressions of grave pity. But the Oakenfolk, who had never heard this story before, were wide-eyed and trembling with horror. "The Empress's ambition," Rob told them, "is to control every faery in Great Britain and ensure that they do only what she believes is best for them. And so, when she learned of the oak's existence and found that your people had escaped her power, she swore that she would either conquer you or stamp you out." That last part was a little oversimplified, but Timothy could understand why. If Rob explained the whole truth about the Empress's origins and her connection to the oak, the Oakenfolk would be more frightened than ever. And if they knew that what she wanted most was to stop fairies from being friendly with human beings, some of them might even be tempted to side with her. There were more than a few Oakenfolk who disliked humans, even now. "But you are not alone," Rob told the Oakenfolk. "Like your new allies from the Green Isles, who have sacrificed so much to join with you and help you in your struggles." He nodded to Garan and his men. "We rebels believe in this wild's right to remain free, and are ready to support you in any way we can." He straightened his shoulders, resolute. "We may be strangers to you, but make no mistake about our loyalties. Every one of us is prepared to fight to the death, rather than allow this oak to fall." In the hush that followed, Timothy had to resist the urge to applaud. Beside him, Linden, the brown-haired girl who was his closest friend among the Oakenfolk, gazed at Rob with shining eyes and lips parted in admiration. And even Thorn, a stocky female who was the most sarcastic fairy Timothy had ever met, looked grudgingly impressed. Had Rob succeeded in winning the Oakenfolk over? Timothy hoped so, but he knew better than to count on anything yet. "It's easy for you to talk of fighting," spoke up a harsh voice, and the fairies in the front row scuttled aside as Mallow,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?